Print and sew your own custom tote or pencil case. This product is available at Coyle Smith Education on Teachers Pay Teachers. Students design and print their own custom fabric and then sew it into their own unique design. This is how you can design your own custom fabric. Students will log into Canva, which you see here, or possibly Adobe Express or some equivalent site. They can pull up or create their own image. Now, if you are a CTE teacher or a business teacher, this would be an awesome opportunity to use this along with some type of logo or business development within your classroom. But students can simply come over to Elements. They can search for any type of image. I'm just going to put face here, and we're going to look at graphics. And you can grab any of these, and you can add text if you need to, whatever you may be interested in. Here you see my own custom template for Mr. Home Ec, the name I use here on YouTube. And so what they're going to do, and you can now turn this into a math lesson, which is this is what I really love. So if you are into kind of cross disciplines, you can take this graphic and you can come up with your own equation, and I would have, I think it's 6 equations for your students, or maybe it's 4, and they would have to figure out the actual degrees, like the angle that they're going to have to turn each of their graphics. So let me explain what I'm talking about. Here's my main graphic. I'm going to size this down considerably. We can make it bigger later if we need to. Encourage them to group their image if they used multiples. And then what they're going to do is you're going to have 6 of these. So we're just going to go ahead and duplicate this. 1, 2, duplicate. You can use this button also. All right, and so this is where you would include your equations. And you'd assign this to your students and you'd say, we're going to create your own custom fabric. However, you need to complete the follow equation for the degree at which the logo should be tilted. So for instance, even on my own that I've completed up here, these are the 6 that we're about to do. So there's the straight up and down one. There is the upside down one. So here they would be turning it to 180 degrees. You'd come up with an equation for that. Here we always tilt left. So that's the one that we're going to go all the way over to 50. Negative 50, I'm sorry. This one we're going to go all the way over to positive 50, or just 50 in general. And then this one we're going to do the same thing, left and right tilt, but upside down, as you see to the side. So that one becomes, I think it's 150. And then this one becomes 150 in the other direction. All right, and then what they'll do is they'll just kind of take these and manipulate them into a chunk. So try to mix them up. And the reason that we do this is because if you simply wanted to manipulate this fabric in some other way, you'd never have to worry about the directionality of your fabric, which helps out a lot for someone who's into beginner sewing of some sort. So they're just going to come up with like a little chunk or a cluster of these logos. And then what you'll do is you'll just kind of highlight them all and you'll group them. And then you're going to go ahead, I'll make this a little bit smaller. And then you're going to go ahead and kind of start positioning. So this is what we're going to duplicate. And we'll just put one right underneath. You'll have to play with it a little bit to get your formatting right. We'll duplicate another one. And it automatically popped it right where it needed to be. Expect to go over the page here, that's normal. We'll duplicate another one. This one's going to come over here. Duplicate. And that's it. It's as simple as that. Once they finish with this task, that's the fabric. This is what you're going to actually print. And all you'll do is you'll simply share that. You'll download it. Typically, depending on what version you have or whether or not it's unlocked, I do the PNG option just to give you the best images to come out, but you can use whatever would work for you. And that's it. That's the fabric that you've created. If you want your images bigger or your logos bigger, you can size this up. If you want them smaller, you can size it down. Whatever you prefer. Here's the one that I've completed just to give you an idea of sizing there. This project starts by using a printable cotton canvas. As you can see, it prints really nicely. You can see the woven texture on the back and also the front. This particular one has a white side and a beige side. Once you have it printed, what you're going to do is gather your supplies, your lining fabric, your zipper, and your scissors. Your lining fabric, in this case, can really be anything because this printable canvas is quite thick and will not need to be interfaced. You still have the option of choosing an interface if you'd like. You're going to then fold your page in half and cut it in half, both your lining and your primary fabric. Once you have that done, you're going to go ahead and kind of put them together. It's going to be back to back, as you can see here. Be sure to double check the size of your zipper. You can always go bigger, not really smaller. And then you want to snip off a few extra pieces to end your zipper with. I'd suggest them to be about 2 inches by 1 inch. You're going to fold those over and you're going to go ahead and sew those to the end of your zipper to give it a place to kind of tuck into, and also allows you to kind of finish the product, or to give your product a much more finished look once it's complete. Be sure that you open the zipper a little bit, and then you're just going to go ahead and sew right over this. Be careful around the zip area. If you do have to go over it, I would suggest lifting your foot pedal and going over top and then continuing your stitch on the other side. You're going to do that to both sides, and you can sew it in about 1/2 inch seam allowance. You can see the seam guide I have there. Then we're going to go ahead and start your zipper by taking it face down. So it's going to be kind of face to face with your fabric. And at this point, you want to go ahead and switch to a zipper foot instead of your primary foot of your machine, whatever that may look like. Mine is a zigzag machine, so it has more of a zigzag foot with it. And a lot of times you'll do a based stitch, and then you go back over and do your kind of tight zipper stitch. You'll notice here that I just go ahead and do the zip stitch right up next to that zipper. You'll also notice in both of these that I have to kind of pause and lift my foot pedal and even the needle and kind of push the zipper around the foot pedal so that I can continue stitching. I do kind of take a second to back tack here or back stitch before I continue on. Once you have both sides complete, you want to double check that your zipper is still working. You want to kind of fold down the zipper or press down the zipper so that it will be flat when you do your top stitching. And then you're going to go ahead and do your top stitching. You can use the zipper foot here, or you can go ahead and switch to your primary foot if necessary. I would encourage you to do a longer stitch, depending on your machine, probably about a 3, somewhere in that line. This was a little tighter than I would normally do. And here you can see I'm going to go ahead and switch back from the zipper to my standard foot. It's time to sew it all up. So you're going to make sure that you unzip your zipper. Sometimes it's really difficult to get these unzipped once you've sewn them. So go ahead and unzip it, and then you're going to do your 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way around the sides, being sure to trim where your zipper was. For this particular project, this was the hardest part. Because this printable canvas is quite thick, it was difficult to get this flipped right side out. So just be aware of that. And then you have your nice lining on the inside, that beautiful detail, and your custom-made, self-designed bag on the outside. I hope you enjoy. To access the full educational unit for this project and more, visit Coyle Smith Education on Teachers Pay Teachers. For additional content, visit us on Instagram at Coyle Smith Education. Want more? You can listen to the Coyle Smith Education podcast, available wherever you listen to podcasts. And finally, for more content, or if you'd like to hear Coyle Smith Education come to your school and speak, check out coilsmitheducation.com.